Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight we are with the Mid-South iRacing Tour at the South Boston Speedway. Tonight going for 75 laps in the Super Late Model Division. If you were here last week, you saw one of the craziest finishes in Mid-South iRacing Tour history with Cooper Ward picking up the win at the Irwindale Speedway. It was an amazing race with a crazy finish. Hopefully we can replicate that here tonight at the South Boston Speedway in Halifax County, Virginia. We're looking at a 0.4 of a mile oval with 12 degrees of banking in the corners and 10 on the straights. The South Boston Speedway been around for a while, opened in 1957, host to many NASCAR races and a staple in the Cars Late Model Stock Tour. So a few storylines coming into this week. Cooper Ward picking up his first ever win last week at the Irwindale Speedway. I don't think he's going to make the call here tonight with 2 minutes left in practice, but also Carter Russo extending his point lead last week by 10 points over the guy who's third place on the board right now, Mark Keatman Jr. Your top 5 in points goes Carter Russo with 212 points, Mark Keatman Jr. second with a 202. 14 points back from him, Cooper Ward with 188, Ethan Wolf just a couple back with 182, and rounding out the top 5, Alex Sexton with 179 points. So race 7 of 11 weeks, and this points battle is still very close. Keatman's going to have a good night if he wants to keep Carter Russo close. As those two drivers at the top of the standings right now. Mike Ashby, who we haven't seen in a couple weeks, currently sits at the very top. At the times, as you can see on the left side of your screen, very close between the three of them at the top right there. In the Mid-South iRacing Tour, we've been to the South Boston Speedway 2 times. Your current track record is a 14.75 set back on June 8th of this year. Jimmy Gowker was at the top of the board in qualifying. And as you can see right there, a 14.65 from Mike Ashby. So we might see your current track record get beat. Last season, on June 8th, Preston Boers picked up the victory, his first in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. And in our first appearance at the South Boston Speedway, Carter Russo has a win as well. So a lot of cars here tonight. 30 cars making the call. So we will be starting all of these drivers in the race. So we'll take a look around the South Boston Speedway. Austin Godfrey on the racetrack in the Bump and Run Racing #1 machine. The Bump and Run crew picking up the track championship this weekend at the Mount Lawn Speedway in the Modified Division. So shout out to those guys over there. As I say that, practice coming to a close, and we are ready for qualifying here tonight. On the left side of your screen, you're going to see the top 20 as they go out. The first car on the racetrack will be Blunt's Junior Photo and Design Bump and Run Racing #1 machine of Austin Godfrey from Newcastle, Indiana. As I mentioned, Ryan Amonette and the Bump and Run Racing crew picking up the track championship at Mount Lawn Speedway this past weekend, so congratulations to them. As Godfrey works lap #1 down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Holding the bottom line nicely, gets a run up off the corner, gets a little bit sideways, going to have to catch it there. First lap time for Godfrey. He will go to the top of the board as the only person to take a time yet. 14.87 on lap #1 for Godfrey. He drives into turns 3 and 4. Zach Woods goes to the top of the board after his first lap. In the freshly painted Row Age Motorsports P1 Performance graphics by WD #61. He'll slow down on lap #2 as he made contact with the outside wall. Here comes another new paint scheme on the racetrack, another one of the Mount Lawn Speedway modified regulars, Austin Coe. The Coe Heating and Air Conditioning, Gary Crosgrove Painting, graphics by WD #28. He comes off of corner #4. On lap #1, a 15.20 for Coe. He's going to bring it to rest down on turns 1 and 2. Alex Sexton goes to the top of the board with a 14.76. So far, the track record not getting broken. As I say that, Blaine Aiken goes quick time, tying Alex Sexton's lap, going a little bit quicker. It's Jesse Henderson now in the Williams Performance Hamke Race Cars, Triple H Racing number 28H. As he rolls out of turn number 4 for his second lap. He's going to pick it up a little bit, move him into the 8th position for now. On the track right now, the 78 machine Colton Coe comes around to the green flag. The WD Broadcasting Network P1 Performance Graphics by WD number 78 from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Colton Coe makes his way off of turn number 4. Lap 1 for Coe. That'll put him second quick with a 14.74. Sorry, 14.73. He's going to have to pick it up a little bit to get to the 00 Mike Ashby off of turn number 4. Hits the gas. He sees the checkered flag, shuts the car off. Not going to go any quicker on lap number 2. On the racetrack now, the Port City Race Cars. Castle Setup Shop. Sorry, Castle Speed Shop, P1 Performance, Bass Pro Shops, Subway all on the side of this. Lime green number 37, Chandler Hutchins from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Sees the white flag, he'll go 19th quick on lap number 1. As he heads down the back straightaway, Jimmy Gauker goes to the top of the board. The Hoosier Racing Tire, P1 Performance, Zach Mago Foundation number 2. He sees quick time and defends his track record. He's on the track now. Edwards Racing Setups, number 12, Drew Chance. He goes to third quick. Number 12 machine. I believe that's all the cars off of the racetrack right now. 22 cars have qualified so far. Jimmy Gauker at the top of those in the number 2 machine. As we mentioned earlier, last season he went quick time at the South Boston Speedway. He goes up there once again tonight, defending his track record. Got another car on the racetrack. The Direct Detail Needle Speed Solution Seneca Performance Hutter Racing Engines number 14. Out of turn number 4, he's going to see the white flag. Matthew Modzaleski on racetrack now. Sitting in the 20th position for now. He's going to have to pick it up on lap number 2. Modzaleski in the gas, all kinds of sideways coming out of turns 3 and 4. He's going to pick it up a little bit to a 14.94. Another regular here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Tri-State Disposal ABC Auto Parts, number 112 machine from Crete, Illinois. Ethan Wolf makes his way up into the 15th position on lap number 1. Going to try and pick it up with 5 seconds left. Coming out of turn number 4, he's going to cross the line on lap number 2. Pick it up just a little bit into position number 13. And that will round it out for qualifying here at South Boston. So on your screen now, we'll take a look at the grid rundown here tonight. Jimmy Gauker, once again, fast time here at the South Boston Speedway. He's going to have Mike Ashby rolling off to his outside. Right behind them, Drew Chance and Colton Coe making up row number 2. Second place in points, Mark Keatman Jr. rolling off from position number 5, and a guy that we saw last week at the Irwindale Speedway make a good first start in the league, going 6th quick here tonight. P1 Performance Duo, Alex Sexton and David Lux in row number 4. Colin Murphy in the 9th position. And Preston Boers, the winner last time here at the South Boston Speedway, he goes to 10th place. Carter Russo, Jaden Russell, row number 6. Russo's going to be starting from deep in the field here tonight, all the way back in the 11th spot, so he's going to have some ground to make up if he wants to get towards Mark Keatman, who starts 5th. Ethan Wolf and Zach Woods make up row number 7. Jesse Henderson, Matt Elzey Jr. in row number 8. The 17th spot, Austin Godfrey in the number 1 machine with John Piet to his outside. Rounding out the top 20, Matthew Modzaleski and Damian Barrick. Brad Carpenter, Chris Schaefer, Chandler Hutchins, and Austin Coe rounding out the field of who all qualified. Then a couple cars out back making the call, Cortland Herman, Shane Ledoux, and Peyton Aldridge. So we'll have 27 cars starting this one. And at the top of them right there, you see Jimmy Gauker. Jimmy and Mike Ashby will be leading the field to the green. Before the pace car rolls around the racetrack, folks, we're going to give you an opportunity to put whoever it is you're cheering for down in the chat below. Let us know who you got, who you're cheering on, who are you here to support down in the chat as we head from the grid and make our way through turns 1 and 2. Gauker and Ashby following behind the iRacing pace truck this week. It's the field making their way down the back straightaway, getting the tires nice and toasty before we send them green for 75 laps of feature racing here. As Gauker makes his way out of turns 3 and 4, following the pace car, the lights going off, symbolizing that we will be going green next time by. So folks, the pace car making its way through turns 3 and 4, the field right behind it. It's going to be in the hands of Jimmy Gauker and Mike Ashby. Pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack, and we are racing down into turn number 1. Field making their way down through the corner. Out back, a guy going around. That will bring us under caution. Cortland Herman going around on the start, having some trouble getting up and through the gears. We'll take a look at what exactly happened there. Is right here. Herman on the outside of the number 91 machine, and it gets a little bit too much gas and goes around on the exit of turn number 4. So not a good start to this 75 lapper, but that will put us under yellow for the first time. Jimmy Gauker was able to get away nicely on that restart and set sail away from Mike Ashby. Mark Keatman Jr. was able to slip to the second position after that. Folks, while we are under caution here early in this one, I'm going to go step away, grab a drink of water really quick. You won't miss a thing on the WD Broadcasting Network, as we will be right back. Alrighty, folks, made it back just in time. The field doubled up behind the pace car through turns 3 and 4. It's going to drop to the bottom side of the racetrack, and once again, we are racing. Both of the number 2 machines lead us to the green down into turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Gauker, Mark Keatman leading us through turns 1 and 2 for the first time under green. Down the back straightaway they go. Looks like Gauker able to slip away to a little bit of an advantage as they cross the line. Jimmy Gauker going to lead the first lap under green. Mark Keatman following right behind him. You see the field make their way down the back straightaway, and we are under caution once again. Out back, the number 27 machine, Matt Elzy Jr., turned around the wrong way in turns 1 and 2, so we'll take a look at what happened. Is right here, Elzy and Henderson of 28 were battling side by side, getting into the corner. Henderson gets in a little bit too hot, Gets tagged by the number 1 machine of Godfrey. And into LZ they went, and around went the number 27 machine. Is back under yellow once again here at the South Boston Speedway. Jimmy Gowker in the number 2 machine. I apologize for the ticker on the top. The iRacing number not matching up with the paint on Jimmy Gowker's car, but we will refer to him as the number 2 machine. Also in the number 2, Mark Keatman right behind him in the second place spot. So it's a good day to be a number 2 as they are in the top 2 positions as of right now. As Drew Chance not able to make the call. He's in the session now, but down 2 laps or so. So not a good start to Drew Chance after the 3rd place qualifying run. As the pace car lights fall off, symbolizing that we'll be going back to green this time by. As they make their way through turns 3 and 4, we are back racing. Keatman getting the jump on Gowker there through turns 1 and 2. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. As Gowker might be having connection issues. He falls off of the screen. We'll take a look at Mark Keatman. As in the back of the pack, Alex Sexton getting turned. Colin Murphy into the inside wall hard, and a big stack up in turns 1 and 2. Austin Coe collecting some damage in the number 28 machine. As we'll take a look at what exactly happened there as they came down the front straightaway. It looked like Alex Sexton got turned to the inside wall. We'll take a look at what exactly happened. It looks like he was on the outside of Blaine Aiken, the 05 machine. They just made a little bit of contact. Sexton getting into the wall, and Russo was right there with nowhere to go. Sexton makes it through, but a bunch of cars collected behind them. We'll take another look at that before we go back green. Right there, you see Colin Murphy gets tagged and a lot of damage. Preston Moore's involved, Zach Woods involved, Brad Carpenter climbing the wall into turns 1 and 2, and somebody coming in there way hot. It looks like that was the number 26 machine of Peyton Aldridge. That puts us under yellow for the 3rd time here tonight. There's a lot of cars collecting some damage in that one. One of which being Colin Murphy in the number 009 machine. He's going to call this one a night. As we started with 27 cars and only 23 on the lead lap after just a couple of laps. Once again, Gowker and Keatman at the front of the field. Colton Coe able to slip by Mike Ashby and take the 3rd position away on that last restart. So folks, if you're a regular here on the WD Broadcasting Network, you know that we have a good points battle going on. Carter Russo and Mark Keatman going at it for points, just 10 points separating the two. And right now, Mark Keatman is in front of Carter Russo by a number of positions, so this could be a very exciting race for the championship as the lights off once again on the iRacing.com pace car. It's going to be Gowker, Keatman, Coe, and Ashby, the front 4, leading us to the green. Keatman getting the jump a little bit there. Goes ahead of Jimmy Gauker, and down into turns 1 and 2 they go. Keatman's going to have the advantage off of turns 1 and 2. And oh, Gauker gets in there way hot. And the caution flag flies. Keatman going for a slide. And that'll put us under yellow once again. We'll take a look at what happened between the two. I apologize. The UI just came up on the screen. You guys can take a look at that, but here we go. You see Gauker going down into turns 3 and 4. Keatman tried to come down, and Gauker was right there. And that sent them, or the number 2 machine, sliding out of control down through the corner. As that puts us under caution once again here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll step back in just a second and get back to racing here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Alrighty, folks, we're back on the WD Broadcasting Network. On your screen, we're under caution once again, as you can see. Jimmy Gauker, Colton Coe, Mark Keatman going to the back after that incident. He will fall all the way back to, I believe, the 23rd position. So as he drops back in the field, race control announcing that we will be going to single file restarts for the time being until these guys can get some green flag laps in. So as we have completed 22 laps, working on lap number 23. A bunch of cautions so far. Race control making the call to swap them to single file for now. Try and get some green flag laps underway. Up front, Jimmy Gauker led every lap of this one so far. Right behind him, Colton Coe in the number 78 machine, looking to tie his best run this season. Mike Ashby in the 3rd spot. Blaine Aiken and David Lux rounding out the top 5 positions. We'll put the top 20 up on the left side of your screen so you can take a look and find out where exactly your driver is. As the lights go off in the iRacing.com pace car, and that's going to be sending us back to the green flag. Gauker going nice and early. Single file down into turns 1 and 2. He's not going to have any company. There's a lot of cars straggling out back, and down the back straightaway, Jimmy Gauker goes with a couple of car lengths on Colton Coe in the 2nd place position. As down the front stretch, lap number 25 in the books. Jimmy Gauker got a comfortable lead over Colton Coe, about 2 car lengths right there. As out back, Alex Sexton battling side by side with Cortland Herman in the number 49 machine. Sexton with a very bruised race car after that early accident. In front of them, Carter Russo gets the inside of Shane Ledoux in the 91, and Sexton going to follow in right behind them. As right now, Ashby trying to get around the number 78 machine, Colton Coe. That Justin Brooks Designs 00 trying to make something happen here early on. He's seen the caution so far. He wants to get to the front quickly. As he rides in the 3rd position. Right behind him, Blaine Aiken, who we saw down on the bottom quite a bit last week at Irwindale. Looks like he's got the South Boston Speedway figured out. He is in the 4th position. As Ashby takes a look to the inside of the 78 machine, down the front straightaway. Nothing's going to happen out of it. Gets into the corner, the bumper, the tag. In the 78, Colton Coe goes for a slide. He's going to hang on to it. As Ashby got into the number 78 machine, made contact, and around went the number 78. He slid up the racetrack. The caution flag flies, but he was able to save it. We'll take a look at what exactly happened. We'll go to our friends in the Goodyear blimp. It looks like going into the corner, Ashby just gets in there a little bit too hot, not quite having position on the 78 of Coe. Coe came down, and the two of them made contact, and that will put us under yellow once again. As up front, Jimmy Gallagher still in the lead of this one, but after the contact for second place, that's going to put Blaine Aiken in the 05 machine up into the second spot. David Lux moves along in third. Mike Ashby going to be given the EOL for that incident. He's going to go to the back of the pack, have to work his way back forward. Colton Coe was in the second position. He falls back to fourth on that one. Ethan Wolf rounding out the top 5. As this is going to be an interesting night for points, as the third place driver, Cooper Ward, not making the call here tonight. Ethan Wolf sitting in the fourth spot. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up. But with Carter Russo and Mark Keepman both outside of the top 15, Ethan Wolf can capitalize on that with a good run here tonight. I believe the light's going out in the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to still be single file on this restart. It's going to be Gauker, Aiken, Lux, Coe, and Wolf bringing us to the green. You see Gauker going up to the top side of the racetrack. Pace car going to drop to the inside and out of turns 3 and 4. They gas it up, and we are back racing here at South Boston. Take a look at the field as they head into turns 1 and 2. A lot of guys going for the space here early on. Blaine Aiken right in the second spot. A couple of car lengths behind Jimmy Gallagher, and right behind him, David Lux in the third position. So with these single file restarts, these guys get spread out relatively quickly. So without a doubt, Jimmy Gallagher going to be closing up on some lap traffic here shortly as we approach halfway in this one. 38 in with 47 to go. Sorry, 37 to go. Having a hard time doing math here tonight as we hit lap number 39. Gauker still out front. Down the back straightaway they go. Everybody pretty much single filed out. Alex Sexton working the inside of Austin Coe for the 15th spot. Coe going to give him plenty of room up on the top. And around goes Alex Sexton down the bottom side of the racetrack. He slides into position number 15. He's going to try and bring Mark Keepman along with him as Keepman takes advantage of Austin Coe being up on the top side. That's going to move Mark Keepman into position number 16. So those guys, after being sent to the back early, start to make their way back forward. One guy who we haven't touched up that much this season, Damian Barrick, in the Logan Maynard Racing number 28 machine, representing his buddy from the Plymouth/South Bend Motor Speedway. Damian running in the 10th spot right now. That would be one of his best career finishes here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour as Brad Carpenter closes up to the back bumper. As up front, Jimmy Gauker is starting to open up that gap to the back bumper of Blaine Aiken in the 05. As he's got about 5 car lengths as they head down into turns 1 and 2. David Lux in the the third position. He's going to try and get around Blaine Aiken for position number 2 and chase down his teammate. Back behind them, Zach Woods running in the 6th spot right now. P1 Performance number 61. It looks like he's slowly handling that damaged number 61, recovering nicely from an early accident. As around goes the number 8 machine, Chris Schaefer, in turns 1 and 2. The SRT Pennzoil number 8, he goes around on the bottom side of the racetrack. We'll take a look at what exactly happened. So it looks like he was battling with Alex Sexton and Mark Keepman Jr. for the 15th position. So right here going into turns 1 and 2, you see Keeman on the bottom and Schaefer on the top. Looks like coming off the corner, Keeman just thought the number 8 machine would be up a little bit higher, and they make contact, and around went the number 8 machine. As that puts us under yellow once again at South Boston. But right there, the man of the hour, Jimmy Gauker, leading right now. As we are 48 laps in this time by. We're approaching 20 laps to go in a hurry. Some of these guys outside the top 10 going to have to start making some serious headway to try and get back to the front of the field. Is Gauker trying to pick up his first career victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. He was oh so close last year at the South Boston Speedway. He qualified on the pole and was leading the race after holding off second place for a while, but unfortunately Jimmy Gauker making contact with the second place car put him out of contention for the victory. So he's going to try and keep that P1 Performance Hoosier Racing tire up in the top spot for now. As the lights go off on the iRacing.com pace car, that's going to put us green flag this time by. It'll be in the hands of Jimmy Gauker and Blaine Aiken out of turns 3 and 4. Gauker going nice and early, Aiken staying right there with him. As we are back racing here at South Boston. Lux and Co making contact out of turns 1 and 2. Everybody sliding in. A huge crash. Matthew Modzaleski going upside down. A huge crash down the back straightaway. That will put us under yellow once again. Lux and Co making some contact out of turns 1 and 2 right there. You saw them battling hard for position number 3. As we'll take a look, pay attention to the neon car on the bottom of the screen. He just comes up the track a little bit. The 78 of Colt Co was right there, and everybody piling in. Nobody hitting the brake pedal here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. Matthew Modzaleski ending up on his lid. That'll put us under caution once again. A massacre down the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. As that will shake up the top 5 quite a bit. And while we are here riding along board with the Goodyear blimp, just give you some action and see what it's like above the South Boston Speedway. As the field is under yellow right now, once again. Left side of your screen, we have 21 laps to go under caution for the 7th time here tonight. And folks, I am sure that they are not done wrecking yet. There's a lot of guys hungry for a victory here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. So here's a quick rundown of your top 10 right now. Jimmy Gauker at the top of the board, as he has been this entire race. Blaine Aiken moving up into the 2nd spot. Ethan Wolf coming up from the 13th position all the way to position number 3 in the 3rd spot. And Austin Godfrey coming from position number 17 up into position number 4. Zach Woods rounding out the top 5. Jaden Russell, Carter Russo, Austin Coe, Portland Herman, and Alex Sexton in the 10th spot. So 13 cars still on the lead lap in this one. A lot of guys with a lot of damage after that last incident. So back up front, I believe the field's going to see 1 to green this time by. There's a couple big storylines. Mark Keatman Jr., 6 laps down, the 2nd place guy in points. The leader right now, Carter Russo, in the 7th position right now with Austin Coe to his outside. He's going to be able to open up that advantage by a significant number. Right there in the 3rd spot, the 4th place guy in points, Ethan Wolf, trying to get a good run here at South Boston. As the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack, we are back racing. And Jimmy Gowker, Blaine Aiken lead us to the green down into turns 1 and 2. Off the corner, Jimmy Gowker able to step away. He's got about a car length on Blaine Aiken as they head down the front straightaway and into turns 1 and 2. Gowker managing that gap well, 17 laps to go. Behind them, Zach Woods able to get around Jaden Russell for the 5th spot. As it's Gowker, Aiken, Wolf, and Godfrey, and Woods rounding out the top 5. It's Austin Coe running in the 8th position, not able to get around Carter Russo on that last restart, but still up front, Jimmy Gowker able to hang on to this one. He sees 15 laps to go around this time. As Gowker still up front, 14 laps to go. Drew Chance having some trouble out back. We're going to keep it green, but he popped up on my scoring pylon that he had some issues right in front of them. Chris Schaefer and Shane Ledoux battling it out. Sorry, Chris Schaefer and Brad Carpenter. Schaefer down a couple of laps in front of them. Carpenter on the lead lap in the 11th position. Up front, Blaine Aiken starting to close in on the number 2 machine of Jimmy Gowker. Aiken right there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Those two going at it hard for the lead. Right now, Aiken not able to get around the number 2 machine so far. As they head into turns 1 and 2, we watch the field. All kinds of spread out. Austin Coe, Alex Sexton making some contact with the outside wall. If you're wondering why I chuckled a little bit right there, I was talking to Austin Coe earlier today, and I was warning him because I know he's had some historically hard times with the South Boston Speedway. I told him not to hit the wall, and we got it right there on camera that Austin Coe hit the wall here tonight. But up front, 9 laps to go for Jimmy Gowker in Blaine Aiken. Gowker led every lap of this one. Blaine Aiken trying to steal it here with under 10 laps to go. It's the Hoosier Racing Tire, number 2. Looks like he's sliding up a little bit in the corners. That might open the door for Blaine Aiken in the 05 machine as Aiken looks to the outside through turns 1 and 2. Nothing for him. Up and out of the corner. Jimmy Gowker gives him a lane up on the top. Aiken just not able to get the run. Bumper through the center of the corner. Gowker slides up a little bit. Looks like Aiken not going to have an opening quite yet. Things are heating up here with 7 laps to go. Gowker way sideways off the corner. He slips up. That's going to allow Blaine Aiken to get to the top spot. Blaine Aiken takes the top spot on the bottom side of the racetrack, and Ethan Wolf moves into the 2nd place position. 6 laps to go for Blaine Aiken. Jimmy Gowker, after leading every lap of this race, is going to have to come back from the 4th place spot if he wants to continue his spot up front. 5 laps to go for Blaine Aiken in the 05 at South Boston. As Ethan Wolf tries to close in, the number 112 machine looking strong in the 2nd place spot. 3 laps to go at the stripe. That time, contact between the two. Aiken sliding up the racetrack. There goes Ethan Wolf into the lead. And Wolf going to run away with this one with 4 laps to go. He's going to see the 3 lap to go signal this time by Jimmy Gowker getting back up into the 2nd place spot. Here comes Austin Godfrey with a bumper of his own, and around goes the number 2 of Jimmy Gowker. And Jimmy Gowker sliding to a stop after some contact with the number 1 machine of Austin Godfrey. And folks, that's going to set us up for a green-white checkered finish. We'll go to our friends in the Goodyear blimp to find out just what happened. As we saw Ethan Wolf getting into Blaine Aiken, you see it right there. Aiken slides up the racetrack. What a save by Aiken to keep that thing moving. Godfrey and Aiken door banging down the back straightaway. Aiken slides up the track. Godfrey gets into Jimmy Gowker. And then into turns 1 and 2. Godfrey just gets in way too hot and grabs that left rear bumper, and around goes Hoosier Racing tire number 2 of Jimmy Gauker. And after that one, Austin Godfrey going to be going to the back of the pack. After that incident, race control deeming that contact on him. And uh-oh, folks, up front, look who is up there. Blaine Aiken and Ethan Wolf going to be rolling off side by side with 2 laps to go. Remember, Wolf moving. Wolf got into the back bumper of Blaine Aiken for the lead. And they're going to be rolling off side by side right here. So what's going to happen, folks? Will it be Ethan Wolf, Blaine Aiken, Zach Woods, Jaden Russell? Could it be Carter Russo or Austin Coe? We're going to find out here in just a couple of laps as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. Wolf and Aiken going to be your control cars here. The pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. Wolf gets the brakes a little bit and down into turns 1 and 2. Aiken with a bumper of his own. Wolf able to hold this line, and that's going to open the door for Aiken down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Another bumper. Wolf going up the racetrack. They make contact. They door bang. They are sliding together. White flag. One more lap to go. Zach Woods sliding to the bottom side of the racetrack. There goes Zach Woods into the lead. Blaine Aiken and Jaden Russell sliding into second. Woods out of turn number 4. Russell tries the bumper. Not going to happen. Zach Woods picking up the victory at the South Boston Speedway. As after all of the carnage and 78 laps, Zach Woods picking up his first career Mid-South iRacing Tour victory. As what a finish, folks. We'll get a replay and an interview from our top 3 competitors here tonight after that one, as we will step away for just a moment on the WD Broadcasting Network. As folks, we are back once again on the WD Broadcasting Network. You look at the left side of your screen as your top 20 finishers here tonight. Zach Woods picking up his first career victory at the South Boston Speedway and in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Jaden Russell comes home in a short second place. Russell tried to make it happen there in the last couple of laps, just not quite enough to top Zach Woods, as we'll now bring in our third place competitor. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get a word from Jaden Russell, who finished second here tonight. But nonetheless, we will bring in Blaine Aiken, who finished in the third spot. Blaine, this is your second career start in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, and it was off to a pretty good start. We saw you working your way methodically up through the field, and we saw you make contact with Ethan Wolf and Jimmy Gauker, and it was a scuffle for those last couple laps. But let us know, how did it happen in your eyes? What exactly happened in those last 2 laps?
Well, I was conserving tires the whole race, just trying to have something left at the end. I wasn't pushing it too hard until the last couple laps when me and Jimmy were racing. And me and him had a good race. But me and Ethan made a little bit of contact toward the end of the race there. And, it was just a racing deal. He got into me and I got back into him. But he tried to wreck me at the end. So it kind of screwed up my chances of winning.
Yeah, we saw contact between the two of you Wolf not happy with you after this one is you guys both looked like you were going to steal the victory away from Jimmy Gowker, and then you made more contact, and Zach Woods ended up walking away with the victory. But another top 5 finish in your Mid-South iRacing Tour career. You ended up third here tonight. What's it going to take to get 2 more positions here in the upcoming weeks?
Just stay out of trouble and do what I did tonight. Just hopefully we don't run into more idiots.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that was Blaine Aiken, our third place finisher here tonight, as he picks up his first career podium finish with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. And now, folks, the man of the hour, Zach Woods, picking up his first ever victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Zach, you were sitting in, I believe, the 5th spot on that last restart. It looked like the seas just kind of parted ways, and your P1 Performance Graphics by WD number 61 was just barely able to slip by Blaine Aiken and Ethan Wolf and collect your first ever victory here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour.
Yeah, those boys are a little rough. I think I was down on power there at the end after David about wrecked the whole field in the backstretch.
Yeah, but uh, as much power as you were down, that forward drive coming off the corner sent you into the lead, and despite the efforts from Jaden Russell, you were able to hang on and collect your first ever victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. I'm sure you got a lot of people to thank, so I'll allow you to give a shout out to whoever you need to.
Yeah, I gotta thank P1 Performance, Zach Woods Racing, Row H Motorsports, Graphics by WD, uh, all the guys in P1. Everybody putting up
Alrighty,
good
well,
races weekly, nightly.
a group effort from the P1 boys. They come home 1 and 2 tonight. Also, Jimmy Gowker recovered from that spin to come home in the 5th spot. So shout out to the P1 Performance boys as they win here tonight at South Boston. And folks, that is going to wrap it up here tonight. We'll take a look at how the point standings stacked up. Just give me just a second. We're going to have to get all that figured out here tonight. As take a look at the point standings and see how exactly they change. We saw Mark Keatman Jr. have a catastrophic run towards the end of the race as he finishes all the way back in the 15th spot. Carter Russo, your points leader, finishing 4th. So undoubtedly, um, Keatman going to fall back quite a bit from um, your leader, Carter Russo. As give me just a second to upload these results, and then we will see what exactly happened to the point standings after tonight at South Boston. And after race number 8, it looks like Carter Russo going to open up to 21 points. Ethan Wolf moving up a spot as Cooper Ward not able to make the call tonight. Jimmy Gowker moving up into the 4th position in points. And Alex Sexton staying in the 5th spot. So an eventful night of racing here at the South Boston Speedway. I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight and joining us for this exciting race at the South Boston Speedway. I'd like to congratulate my buddy Zach Woods on his first ever victory here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, as I said, and really like to thank my parents for allowing me to come in here every single night and work towards the iRacing career. So with all that being said, we're going to step away for the week. We will see you guys back next week in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. We will be heading to the we will be heading to the Bristol Motor Speedway for 100 laps of racing next week. Going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. So if you enjoyed here tonight, give us a thumbs up, give us a share. Let your friends know that we are here. And we will talk to you guys next week. Everybody have a good rest of your week. And as always, y'all take it easy.